Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Digitally Transformed. Again, I'm your host, Melissa. Let's get into it. This week, we are talking about how to create an environment of innovation at your company. Now, this is extremely important as so many organizations are realizing that they need to digitally transform. And this is just the beginning of all of it. This is like the basic thing that your company needs to be focusing on right now. And what's really going to make your company stand out is having an innovation mindset and a culture of innovation and really leaning into innovating, workflow and processes and all of these things that can help make your company stand out. There are so many changes that are happening in today's workplace, and where and how work is done is affected by these new needs and expanding capabilities. It is truly a time of growth and transition and transformation. So I want to ask you the question, is your organization taking advantage of this time to flourish in new ways? Are you having trouble moving forward? If so, this is a perfect time to really think outside of the box and start to explore new avenues. I want to encourage you to invite easy, positive change, and I want to encourage you to invite positive change into your business. Being a leader in your industry, it's important to prioritize innovation, and this hasn't always been easy. We totally get that, especially for those who are used to years and years of traditional or routine practices. So today's podcast is going to be all about giving you tips to create an environment at your workplace that really encourages this innovation and allows it to thrive. So the first piece of this is making innovation a part of your company culture. Now that sounds very easy and very basic, but it's just so important. Innovation happens best when it's a company's mindset and not just the hobby of a few inclined employees. To create that culture of innovation, it really needs to be a clear priority that's established and communicated by leadership. The most common scenarios where innovation initiatives fail are when leadership and commitment and communication are lacking. So as leaders, we should want to innovate into the organization's overall goals and objectives and make sure that this is established through meetings, newsletters, and all of the content and interactions that go on. We want to make sure that we give employees a sense of purpose through their role. In driving the company forward, you want to let your employees know that new ideas are encouraged and that there is a safe environment for them to try different and new approaches. Part of that is allowing them to know that failing is okay. Failing is normal, right? If you are not failing, you are not trying new things. So you want to provide them with tools, examples, and guidance. And especially when you are hiring, you want to make it very clear to applicants that this is a big part of your company's culture. And with that, you'll start to really attract those who like to innovate on your team. Okay, so the second thing is really embracing failures. The mantra, fail fast, fail often, like I said earlier, it can be liberating, especially to those perfectionist types who are often held back from trying things because they're afraid of failure. People have this innate reluctance to put themselves in failure's way, but small failures are inevitable. And that's especially when you're innovating. So it's better to acknowledge and accept them and then get them out of the way sooner rather than later. Knowing that leaders are going to be forgiving if failures occur, this can open up the employee's willingness to take some risks with new ideas. Another notion to consider is to embrace failures with NS, meaning all the little setbacks and things that won't pan out while refusing failure in the big picture sense. If a new process is really desired and is necessary, you've got to allow for all of the failed trials around it, but don't stop working at that overall process of improvement until something is successful. Okay, my third piece of advice is removing boundaries, whether they are actually real or just perceived boundaries. Listen to this. Have you ever set a goal and then found yourself creating excuses for why you hadn't gotten it started yet? The same thing can happen at an organizational level. So many leaders or teammates are always talking about future ideas that they aren't quite ready for. They're not ready to approach them. And if that's the case, they should stop and ask whether the obstacles that are in their way are actually real or just perceived. Sometimes setting up tools and resources needs to be done to remove real limitations. So, for example, making sure that strong cybersecurity is established in a digital environment is a crucial step towards allowing for safe innovation. Other times, organizations might realize that they already have more available to them than they've given themselves credit for, and it might just be that employees want to try new things, but they fear that they're going to be judged or scolded for tinkering around. So, as a leadership team, letting them know that that's not the attitude of your organization and that they're allowed to have that free thought can really remove that mental block that your employees might have. So our next tip is setting up a designated innovation time. A great way to facilitate innovation is to simply set up a designated time for it, to schedule it in any amount of time, really, for trying new things. This creates a clear structure and expectations that workers will truly appreciate. So decide how much time you want teammates to spend on moving things forward and improving the company, so working on the organization in addition to working in it. Also, consider what you want your innovation to look like. Is it new services? Is it products? Is it processes? Is it all three? Then make sure that the team knows that this is a time set aside just for working on those goals. And if teammates need even more structure, you might consider assigning certain people to particular trial projects. And finally, my last tip is working with innovative partners. So if your organization or leadership really wants to make these strides, but could use some guidance, it always helps to surround yourself with innovative thinkers and work with partners who are used to forward movement. A more routine-oriented CEO may want to find an innovation buddy and a trusted partner who can help with motivation and ideas. Working with a company that's committed to innovation is a sure bet to get things rolling and provide the advising that's necessary to propel your business forward. So if you'd like to explore new ways to improve your company and create an environment of innovation, we are always happy to partner with you or to chat. I hope that you learned something from this podcast, and just remember, you guys, it is extremely important right now to stand out and to innovate and have a forward-thinking organization. That's all for this week. We'll see you next time.